Okay, guys, a very good morning. A very good morning. It is 6:35 in the morning on my Bible study. I was making stories. I feel a little weird in my frequency because, I'm gonna talk about something that, it's something, it's difficult to talk about, but I need to talk about it, guys, because it's stuck in my mind. And I want to give everything to the world. I don't want to get stuck in stories. And so, guys, I've been going to church, let's say the last 6-7 weeks. And guys, I connected with people in church that, gave me so much frequency and power that I felt the Holy Spirit within me like, whoa, like crazy. But I also had conversations and been in church that it killed my frequency, guys. So on the other hand, sometimes I get like crazy energy, but on the other side, it drops my frequency. So the thing is with church, guys, how I live my lifestyle, how I teach and preach, the Bible. And again, I'm just a beginner in the Bible. I'm just beginning. I'm doing this for 18 months, studying the Bible, but the church is something new. I already lived it, killing the sins, implanting the lifestyle that, gets you in a high frequency state, like I always say. So when you do the lifestyle that I do, you make the right decisions. So you come in a high frequency state. If you do not do this lifestyle and you live the Bible and you stop sinning and you go to church and you pray, I believe, for the most people, you still get in a low frequency state because people are trying to get a feeling from church. They're trying to get a feeling, from the Bible, because it's not only, the feeling. And I explained yesterday that I believe that we are humans and we're not made to live on feelings, but we are made to live on frequency. This is also something they do not understand, and that's perfect, but I teach and preach, and what I show in my life, I started in hell, and I'm right here already coaching people, giving wisdom to the world, and I understand that everything is frequency. If you eat too much, if you are fat, if you do not count your macros, if you do not train, you can go to church, but if you're fat, guys, understand, if you're fat, you're not taking care of your temple, and the Holy Spirit needs to live in your temple. So, you can know the Bible, you can be close to Jesus, you can pray every Sunday, but if you believe that, you don't have to live the lifestyle like this and, be in control of the mind, and you have a belly, as a man, you have a belly or you're fat, that means you're not in control of the temple. That means that how close you believe you are to Jesus. What I truly believe, these people are truly, living it. I mean, they live the Bible, they know the Bible, and they're truly close to Jesus. But I believe it's not only that, guys. I truly believe it's also, something very important, what is not being taught in church. They talk about lifestyle, but, living it, but not living it, guys. When you understand that we're living frequency, and when I look around in the church, and I'm not here to judge, I don't judge, guys, but I just have to look one time and I see that people are not in control of the temple, but they're trying to be in control spiritually, to get close to Jesus, to live the Bible, but they're not in control of the temple. You cannot, try to be spiritually in control, but not in control of your body, not training, not counting your macros, being fat or being too skinny or whatever, not being in control by sleeping the whole day, or the lifestyle that I do not teach. That if you do that, if you do not do the habits that I do, it's not, you need to be in control of the mind, your soul, and, you need to be in control of the flesh. It's a combination, guys. And this is what I miss in church, I believe this is why the Holy Spirit wants me to build my own church on Sunday, that, it's the Bible, it's living it. And again, guys, I'm just a beginner, I'm not close to knowing everything in the Bible. I'm just putting in the work every single day. But something else, we talked about depression. You're like, Mike, how do you feel about depression? I'm like, it's making the wrong decisions. And I felt that they don't really understood that because, a close someone to them had more depressions. And I'm like, I had depressions my whole life. A depression means that you're not making the right decisions in life. And then they felt attacked, and I felt that, like, yeah, but they're not sinning. I'm not. Guys, understand that making the wrong decisions is not sinning. It's totally something else. If you are not waking up in time when you need it, when you are not eating the right food, if you're eating too much, if you're not going to the gym, if you believe you don't need it, if you have a wrong job, if you're in the wrong relationship, guys, if you are getting stuck in your mind and not talking about it, it's the wrong decisions. You get depressed. That's the only reason why you get depressed. And, they told me, okay, Mike, you have so many stories and what can happen. Guys, what happened to me, I had brain damage, the things I did, the things I've been in prison. I did so many things in my life. Like, I was lost, guys. So I believe I can talk about this. And, and I killed it all. I killed the medication, I killed the brain damage by just living the lifestyle that I live. So, I believe truly, depression, you feel it. But it's just about when you make the wrong decisions in life. And I'm not talking about sinning, guys. I'm talking about not making the right decisions in life. And this is so important that people understand this, because they don't understand it, how bad life can get. And I mean, guys, I was addicted to everything. I had brain damage. I cannot explain how bad brain damage is, but, the brain damage that I had for 2 years is, guys, I did not know how that was possible. It was hell on earth, but I killed it. I killed the medication. I killed everything with living the right, life, making the right decisions. And, they talked about, but, they're really close to Jesus. So how is it possible? And it's still possible, guys. You can be really close to Jesus. You can live the Bible. You can feel it. But if you're making the wrong decisions with food, with taking care of your temple, with your relationship, with work, with anything, it can be small. You can get depressed because your soul wants to go to the left, but you are going to the right. And that's what a depression is. And people do not understand it. Something else, I was talking about, I fast. And, and I was explaining, you can, when I believe that you can heal cancer with fasting. And they told me, Mike, you cannot say that to people that have cancer. I'm like, why not? You should tell this to people that have cancer, because fasting is the key. It's in the Bible. Fasting, long fasting, eats up your bad cells. It's, guys, I've seen stories, I read stories, I believe. And of course, it's, you need the help of Jesus, but you also need the help of what you put in your body, guys. It's a combination. I truly believe it's the combination of both. You need to fast if you have cancer. And that they could not understand that, and the visions that I have in our church are totally different. But on the other side, we're on the same page with the Bible, with Jesus, and I feel every word they say. But I truly believe the churches these days are missing something really big. They ask me why did I not find my angel, and the thing is that I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, guys, but if somebody's asking me that is not taking care of your body, but, believing because you found Jesus and you go to church and you pray, but you're not in control of taking care of your body, it doesn't, if you're fat or skinny and you do not train or you do not do anything about your temple, and you're giving me the question, yeah, Mike, you said, God is everywhere. Everybody can have their angel. And I put me in a place that I don't want to be, at that moment, I should have said the truth, but I didn't because I don't want to, I'm just new there and I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but that's being nice. That's the devil. The devil is being nice, but, if I did not have my angel, and I was not taking care of my body, and I, the first thing that you need to do, guys, is take care of the temple. You need to be in shape. You need to know your macros. You need to train every day. You need to get in a high frequency state, because I feel that a lot of people are still in the mind in low frequency state in church, But when they go to church, they're like, they feel it. They get a feeling, and the rest of the week, then they're still in the mind, I'm not talking about everybody. I'm not judging. I'm just seeing what I feel, and this is a difficult situation for me, Mike, that lives the habits, kills all the bad habits. And of course, I'm just a beginner in the Bible and following Jesus, but I know it's the way, and this is what the church is missing. And I believe almost every church, and it's the same with the doctors. I said that yesterday as well. When people go to the hospital and they say you have cancer, you have only 3 months to live, but if you do this and this and this chemo, like, everybody listens in fear, guys. I would not listen. If I would get cancer, I would not do chemo, but that's my decision. I would fast. That's the thing that I would do, because our body is our own, how do you say that? Doctor. You just need to know how to do it. But I see it as, a doctor, does not know anything about, about nutrition, about lifestyle, about truly lifestyle. They miss that in the hospital. No doctor, if you go to the doctor, you're like, I'm depressed, or, and like, I'm fat, like, they're not talking, you need to, how do you train? When do you wake up? Are you in control? They don't talk about that. They just want, it's not there. And that's what I see in church. It's not there truly about being in control of the flesh, guys. Being in control, being in shape. If you follow Jesus, you should be in shape. Because for me, I cannot take advice of somebody that is fat. And that's not to judge, but if somebody is fat, it means you are not in control of your temple. It means you are not in control of your mind. It means you are not in control, guys, And again, I'm making this video because I need to get out of my mind. I'm not here to judge anybody, but it's the truth. If you are fat, you're not in control. So I cannot listen to you, I cannot, you can say the wisdom, but you're not applying it, because I truly believe if you follow the Bible, you need to be spiritual, in control. You need to believe, you have faith, you have the Holy Spirit. I believe it. But if you're not in control of the temple and you can believe, okay, it's just a temple. No, if you are not in control of the flesh, it's low frequency, and you will get in a lower frequency. And I feel that. When people are in low frequency, I feel it. So I needed to talk about this, guys. I needed to talk about this to get this off my chest, off my mind, because I cannot be nice. I was nice yesterday because I was not telling the truth, because I did not want to hurt somebody's feelings, because I felt them and they don't see it, They don't see that if they, if people just get ripped, it doesn't matter how old you are. If you get ripped and you're in shape and you're just eating what your body needs, you raise your frequency. You come closer to Jesus, and it's all frequency. And it's difficult because when you try to explain to people that do not believe in the frequency, do not see it, high frequency, the Holy Spirit can use you much more. It talks through you. In low frequency, when you're not in control, when you let the food control you, the alcohol, the sleep, the Netflix, the Facebook, the social media, like, you're low frequency, guys. You cannot let the Holy Spirit guide you. It's impossible. You need to be in control of the flesh. And again, this is something that I do not see in the church, because if you had a church and you see that all people are fat and not in shape, and you need to talk about it, because it's so important. And I truly believe it. And I know it's a difficult thing to talk about, and maybe people are not gonna like that I make this video and I talk about it, but guys, it got me stuck in my mind, and I'm battling myself. Should I go to church again, or should I not go to church again? And I'm gonna pray about that, because on the Bible, on the Jesus part, we match. But on the being in control of the flesh and the low frequency, we do not match. So, and I truly believe, guys, I truly believe if you're fat, if you're addicted to anything, if you live in fear, you are chosen. The devil knows your power. And when the devil knows your power, you're being attacked. And this is something that I try to explain, and they don't see it as well. Like they're like, too much devil. You talked about that, like it's not always the devil, but it is. It is, guys. I know it. I feel it. I live it. You know, when you are fat and you are being controlled by food and you don't even see it, you are being attacked by the devil, because it gets you out of the power. If you live in fear, like I always did, it's the devil that's taking you out of power. Why? Because you are gifted. You have so many more gifts that you're not using, because the devil, you know, uses this world, your temple, against you. And that's truly the way I see it, guys. That's the way I live it. That's the way my students are growing. That's the way Jaros teaches me. Jaros teaches priests, you know, this way, that are like, whoa, crazy Jaros, you know, I'm a priest and I always did it wrong, you know. And like, he is doing it with thousands, hundreds of thousands of people, you know. I'm doing it, you know, with myself. I saved myself, my brain damage, my life with this lifestyle, you know. So guys, you know, I truly believe this is the only way in the time that we live in right now, where you can drink as much alcohol as you want, that you can eat as much food as you want. You know, in the time that we live right now, you need to be in control of the flesh. And I understand the flesh will die one day, your soul will leave the body, but as long as you're alive, you need to be in control, because I count my macros every day. It's spiritual. I don't have to count my macros. I know if I can eat. I know I'm in shape. But knowing what you need and eating that exactly and fasting, you know, is getting in control, guys. You know, I truly believe this is what the church misses. And I truly believe that, you know, in most of the churches in the world, you know, this needs to be implanted. It needs to be more the lifestyle. Guys, the lifestyle is 50%, you know. The lifestyle, it's 50% of this, you know. The Bible, it's both. You connecting with both. And that's what I do in my coaching, guys. You know, it's not only putting Jesus above everything. It's also, you know, living the lifestyle, the 0.01% lifestyle. That's why it's a 0.01% lifestyle, because nobody's doing it, guys. Nobody is doing it. You know, it needs to be a combination. Even in the hospitals, they don't do it, guys, you know, because they want you sick. They want you on medication. They want money in the hospitals. But in the hospitals, they need that, you know, lifestyle. They should do like, what are your habits? This is what you need to eat. This is what you need to train every single day, guys, you know. So I needed to make a video about this. Not here to judge, not here to, you know, to hurt anybody's feeling. I'm here because I believe in you. I believe in everybody. But the habits need to be in control. You need to be ripped 24/7, the whole day, the whole year, every single day. You need to be in shape, not for your ego, but for the frequency, guys. You know, you need to be in control, because the devil, and I'm telling you, even if they don't believe me, the devil is using your body, your temple, against you to get you out of the power that you can be in, because you are so powerful. And I'm showing you guys, 2 years ago, I wanted to kill myself, and this lifestyle, not the church, this lifestyle saved my life. This lifestyle, the Bible and Jesus, you know, together, you know, made me walk this path of coaching the world, coaching you guys, giving wisdom, giving faith, you know. And the church I implanted as last. And now I'm doubting to stop it, you know. I'm building my own church, what I'm doing every Sunday, because this is what the world needs. I see it with Linda, my angel. She's doing the same things as me, counting macros, training every day, waking up early. Not the time that I wake up, but waking up early every single day to be in control, doing the steps outside, guys, every day. Like, you need to hit it. You need to be in control of the flesh, or else the devil takes over with fear, with food, with everything, guys, with watching too much Netflix or reels or social media. You need to be in control together with the Bible, Jesus, the Holy Spirit, guys. And that's the only way that I believe it's gonna work. So, guys, needed to make this video. It needed to get out of my mind. I needed to put this on the camera and in the world. So, have a wonderful day. God bless, and let's go.